Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. And it's Monday, so it's wear a hat Monday because this. Um, I don't believe in filters, so this is what you're getting.
There you go. There you
Go
go. I'm here in
Jackets.
the ice dungeon in Michigan, so it's still pretty cold down here. Real life.
Oh yes, oh yes. Same here. We were 73 degrees yesterday, and I think we're like 30 degrees today because
Oh my
weather.
goodness.
So much for my cucumbers I just started growing.
Kat, can you give everybody a little taste of where you are doing ministry and what you guys are up to these days?
Yeah.
Kind of the top three stuff that you're pursuing with
Okay.
students right now.
Well, we are in Atlanta. Well, not really necessarily Atlanta, Georgia, but we're in a suburb about 20 miles northwest of Atlanta called Kennesaw, Georgia. And we are with Kennesaw State University. My church is adjacent to, as in across the street. The school rents out our church lot, church parking lot during the week, and we have a university bus system stop at our church called the Church Lot. Hence, where I came up with, so cleverly came up with our campus ministry name called.
I didn't know it was from the bus stop name. That's great.
Yes, free advertising. And so we started that, I guess, 3 years ago, and we really started to take off as a consequence of legislation, with things going poorly last year with the Trump administration doing away with all DEI. And that
Mhm.
meant 7 university centers on our campuses. We have 2 campuses. One is in Marietta, Georgia, and one is in Kennesaw. And so things like the LGBTQIA Resource Center, the Women's Resource Center, the African American Male Initiative, OLA, for our Latinx and Latina students. Any international, you name it, it's gone. But we had some open Sunday school rooms because obviously we don't have Sunday school during the week. And so we invited students up there. And irony of ironies, the LGBTQ Resource Center took us up on it first. And so they got the big room and they got to decorate it and do whatever they wanted with it. And so now the Campus Pride Center is, of all places, at a church. So that has been the biggest thing we've been doing. And alongside creating a campus ministry, that has been my life. Give or take a random 5K that my parishioners decided to do yesterday.
It
That
dragged you
was
along?
that was something. And I did it in my, my Chuck Taylors because they're,
Mhm.
it's Lent, and so I had my purple Chuck Taylors on, and I don't recommend ever doing a 5K in Chuck Taylors right after church, but here I am. Um,
Were you also in full liturgical gear?
oh yes, yes I was.
Mhm.
All of
Good.
it. Because why not? Um, eh, and that's just, I mean, it's just the wonderful chaos that is, campus ministry, that is hospitality. We invited 2 AA groups onto into our church fold, if you will, and so, making friends with them, having just people coming in and just making space for people, and hoping that it eventually becomes their third spot to hang out is what we've been doing and what we've been up to. Like I said,
Yeah.
give or take a random 5K.
Now, I've been in churches, even churches that are pretty close to campuses, midweek before,
Hmm.
and the the silence that can happen in the middle of a church in the middle of the week is pretty deafening. What is life like on a day-to-day basis before you welcome these new student groups to use your old Sunday school rooms, and after?
um
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
it
daily.
we might have a cat join us. She just jumped in my lap, so just, and yes, that is a dinosaur in my background. This is just me. um it was very quiet, eerily quiet. Not a lot going on, kind of, just imagining and wondering what on earth could be done. I spent a lot of time on campus just trying to find communities, to the point where I ended up becoming an undergraduate again, just to get into the campus community. Um, so I'm an art and communications major. It's
Oh,
interesting.
congratulations.
um, and gosh, I mean, it was just a lot of planning that went in during those times, and now it's kind of quiet from like 10 to 2, but then things start happening around 2, 3, 4 o'clock, and nighttime is very active.
At the
And
church.
yeah,
Yeah.
not on Mondays because we're all struggling on Mondays, obviously, but like Wednesdays it starts to kick in, and Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays there's always something going on.
Yeah.
And it's been beautiful just going from crickets to chaos. It's beautiful.
What does that identity as a student mean for you? What has it given you? Who have you met? How does it
Mm.
change your viewpoint? What's that like?
Well, the dean of students has to return my emails now, so that was worth it right there. And just even like the discounts, like paying $200 a week for summer camp for my kid is amazing. But I've been able to join the master's swim team there, which it's a big part of my life is swimming. And so I was able to meet quite a few faculty members that are in HR, which is amazing.
Oh yeah.
And like the university ombudsman is a great swimmer. And he speaks French, and I speak a little French. And so that was fun. But just even having conversations as a rostered student organization on campus, being able to talk with other students who are presidents of organizations, talking to SGA has been great. And being in little group me's, like non-traditional students, because technically I am a non-traditional student, needless to say. And it's given me insight and ways to do stuff on campus that I just didn't have access to before.
Yeah. I know that there are some campuses that provide a formal place for religious leaders to come together. Maybe it's like religious,
Mhm.
leaders council or campus religious life council, something like
Yeah.
that. In the absence of that, would you recommend campus ministers consider signing up for a class or two as a way to deepen your, connective tissue with the campus?
If you can afford it and you can tolerate it, yes.
Sure.
When I was at Georgia Tech, I went to Georgia Tech as an undergrad, and we were assigned to a dean, and they still, are connected. Well, she was the dean of diversity. I don't know what she is now, but
Yeah. Right.
they still connected everybody because the administration saw use in chaplains. But at Kennesaw, I'm the only one that is on campus that has an official registered student organization with a responsible adult involved too.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
um yeah, I would recommend it, but also this is an affordable university system community. And the class I'm taking right now, because I have to take one class a semester, and I because I want to build a reputation, I kind of have to make an A in the class. And fortunately, I'm taking religion and monsters this semester as an English class. But I had to take geology one time because for whatever reason something didn't transfer over. So I mean, it's not
Hmm.
for everybody, but it's working great for me.
My 11-year-old just did uh, gaming Bible study
Oh,
where they had a few weeks where they were talking about the monsters of the biblical narrative. So we had
nice.
Leviathan and we had the dragons
Yeah.
and we had everything.
Hmm.
Yeah. When you think of the students that are connecting with the church a lot, your ministry, anything you're doing, who comes to mind? What are some stories? What's the story of some students doing something that really you were delighted by?
Gosh. Well, I'll start with Aiden, and Aiden does movie nights and gamer nights for the Pride Center slash church lot. There's so much crossover between the two groups. We really don't know whose
Yeah.
person is whose at this point. And just Getting a group together every other week to watch a movie, and then what week they're not watching a movie, they're playing video games. Now, when I saw game night, I thought it meant board game night because I'm
Right.
49, and I quickly found out otherwise. But just the tenderness that I see and them wanting to create community,
Hmm.
and other people jumping on board with me. I mean, even my pastor, my boss, has been amazing, just from the standpoint of, hey, I just had a conversation for an hour and a half with a student and found out that the university is no longer putting out feminine hygiene products in bathrooms. Can we do something about that? And he's like, yes, make an announcement. So I did. And so I I never thought I'd say tampons and Jesus in the same sentence in a church announcement, but yesterday was the first for a lot of things, like a 5K. And now we're collecting tampons and maxi pads, for the school, and some of us students want a table, do the informational tables, on a weekly basis, just handing out tampons and saying, like, oh, by the way, there's a church involved in this. And and it's such low hanging fruit, but it's so easy, and it's helping the community in ways that no one's thought of, but it's so easy, yet the school's not doing this anymore. And it's just like, well, we can step in and do this. This isn't hard. And
Hmm.
the parishioners are like, well, we can, buy a box. We all go to the grocery store. We can afford an $8 box when students can't. So they've really stepped up. And
Wow.
I've had another church group build and decorate a free mini food pantry, like a little free library, but it's like a little free food pantry. So we're going to put that up. KSU has a day of service on the 28th of March, and they're going to come install that and do a little bit of yard work, and we're going to feed them pizzas. So there's just so much going on.
That's amazing.
It's been amazing. Yes.
I guess I'm surprised to hear the amount that women are being sidelined by the anti DEI initiatives. Women are half or over half of the population.
Last time I checked, that's correct. Yes.
Okay.
But because
Um,
they have a resource center, apparently that's a bad thing that we have a resource center. But one of the biggest things they do is offer feminine hygiene products, and that was the
yeah,
big thing they did. And just no one's getting an advantage other than just it was basically a food bank for women's needs. And
yeah. In the Methodist tradition, we hold that quote from John Wesley about I'll submit to becoming more vile. About field preaching and all the going the places that those respectable church people would never go.
yeah.
It sounds like you're finding really blessed ways to step into those places as well.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
man.
And next on my list, and this is a great thing that people can do too, other than finding a way to table outside your church, not outside your church, but outside the campus or on the campus, with feminine products, sexual health products, like condoms and dental dams. You can get as we used to do at Grace
Yeah.
House at Georgia Tech. They probably still do. We had a big bowl of candy and just sprinkle some. So are people getting a handful of candy or a handful of condoms? Don't
Oh, you give them
know.
a little cover
Doesn't
too.
matter.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Mhm.
um, Tell me about the conversations that you have had with those other mostly student led, probably supported by parachurch organizations that don't give a lot of those kind of products away at their tabling. What's life like as the church that is supporting these entities that so many other campus ministries would
Oh,
would shy away from?
well. Oh, you're also the token woman chaplain on campus too, so that's always fun.
Oh, right.
Um, when I was at Georgia Tech, I would purposefully not be invited to meetings that they would have because I was a woman. I found out about this later from from a few chaplains that started feeling guilty later. Um, but yeah, just being disinvited, just having people scoff at us. We had some interesting people stop by the church, and I've had people like, "Why are you doing this?
Mhm.
Why is the church helping these people?" And it's like, well, through our baptism, we are freed from sin to serve our neighbors. That's classic Lutheran theology.
Yeah.
And so we're doing this because we serve our neighbors. That's what we do. And then there was still a but why. And I'm like, there's no but why. That's it. That there's no further conversation. And if
Mhm.
you can't understand that, then we can't have this conversation. I've, experienced my first death threat. It's
Uh,
stuff, and it just kind of comes with the territory of doing your job these days, sadly.
yeah, and let's say that it shouldn't. Let's go on record as saying that would be great if that would stop. Yes?
Yes, it
Okay,
really
great.
needs to stop. And if you're going to do that, don't leave a trail because
Yeah.
it was pretty easy to find that person that said the things.
Yeah. I mean, we're just today we're seeing like videos of signs that were getting ripped down because they basically said help your neighbor. Also ICE is a problem,
Hmm.
and all of that. And then we know that part of what ZOE affiliates are seeing, and have been for a long time, is this sense of you're not towing the line of what a kind of Christian nationalist adjacent campus ministry should look like. You know what I mean? Like that's the norm, the default understanding of what campus ministry
Hmm.
is something becoming even more and more unrecognizable. And I hope that in these crazy things we're doing, like serving everyone because we, are honoring our baptism, um, we can find a way to have that become the emerging story of what campus ministry can be.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that. I did have a student, I guess, 2 weeks ago who, um, it was a pride event, and she's like, "How did this start in a church?" I was like, funny you should ask that. So I
Yeah.
went through that little story. But it, in some ways, because they're being so Christian nationalist, like in some ways it's easy to do our job because
Mm.
we just don't have to say anything. Like you can pass out tampons and not say a word except for "Hello, how are you doing? Need a tampon?"
Hmm.
You're not. I mean, it's such a contrast from what the other groups are doing
Yeah.
that you don't, like, in some ways you don't really have to try. You just have to be brave to try, to get
Hmm.
out there and be amongst them, and wait for the nonsense heading your way, because people come up to you and be like, "Why are you doing this? And what's this for? And what are you standing for?" And you just kind of smile and wave and tell them. um it it works. Yeah, you just have to be brave enough to stand out there amongst the noise.
Yeah. And it speaks from a place of non anxiousness. It speaks of a place of comfort in your own understanding of your theology and
Hmm.
praxis. And it's just more and more, it's just what we have to provide for our campuses because otherwise they're lost
It's not
places
happening.
to the church,
Yeah, they really
they
are.
will be lost places. And not for lack of campus ministries,
Right,
but,
right, right.
but for those who are pursuing a kind of just way forward as the church.
Yeah.
Well, we're in the midst of the Ministry Madness event that's the Lumen is doing right now. Lumen Network is doing right now. It's all about collaborative fundraising and getting people the support they need. How is it that people can get you the support that you and the church lot need?
We are always looking for funding, because the reality of campus ministry is there's a lot of need out there, but not a great deal of funding. We have a church that is composed mostly of retired people, and it's if we stay where we are, it's not going to last forever, and so we're actively searching for funding. I have a link on my church lot website if people are interested in donating. You can be as general or as specific as you want to be as far as how you want to bunny ear that, but
Mhm.
we gladly will take anything we can get because tampons and condoms have to be bought, but also food needs to be bought, because we try to feed students wherever we can. That is the one thing we do try. And if it's pancakes, it's pancakes. If it's more than that, awesome. But we think it's important to nourish because that's what we're about.
Say that URL one more time for everybody. We'll put it in the show notes also.
Right. It's just www.thechurchlot.com. I didn't get creative on anything. Like all of our stuff is the church lot.
It's great. It's simple, but it's powerful as well. Kat, as you're dreaming about the next big possible amazing thing, where does your mind go when you start thinking about that?
Oh gosh. I would just love people to see what we're doing, and what benefit that campus ministry is to the church, to students more importantly, but just to the greater community. Because if we get students graduating, that gets them out of poverty, that gets them out of some cycles of depression. And then the doctoral research I did for trans students, if trans college students graduate, their likelihood of dying by suicide drops by over 20%.
Wow.
So that is kind of like where everything stems from, is just kind of keeping people alive and doing what is necessary to keep people alive. And for me, that looks like hospitality and feeding people and taking care of people and making people laugh where I can. And that that is what is important. And the more people that see what we're doing, the more people we can get to graduate and the more people live. That
Yeah.
simple.
It's a big dream, but an important one.
Mhm.
Also humble in a way.
Mm.
We thank you for everything you're doing, Cat Folk. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Check them out at thechurchlot.com and send them a little love, a little donation, and follow their story. Be a part of what's going on down there, and together we can make this all happen.
Yes.
Thanks,
Thank
Cat.
you. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. We'll see you.
Yeah, that's the ending is always funny because it's never really the ending. I still have to edit it out at the end,
Yep.
but that's what this
Awesome.
will be. Thanks for doing this. We just had a little conversation go up, so I'm going to make sure that this is edited right, and then maybe have it go out tomorrow morning. So,
Okay, good. That gives me time to clean up my website.
oh, okay, sure, no problem.
But it's
All right,
it's decent, but
yeah, you guys are
it
doing
needs some
fine.
tweaking.
Never a bad idea to take a look, right? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, we'll see you.
Yeah, bye.
I just got to figure out how to that. No.